But let's take a look at the smarter chess predictions. Because, take a look at this. It has Polina Shuvalova as the favorite with a 64% chance of winning this match. Wow, that's a turnout for the books.
Yeah, I'm gonna slightly push back on this. I feel like Wenjun should be the favorite again. Like I said, she has been dominant throughout this event. She's a 4-time women's world champion. That being said, Polina should definitely not be underestimated. She has been fighting in every single game, every single match. And so, yeah, she's gonna make it very difficult for Wenjun, but in my opinion, Wenjun should be the favorite.
Yeah, she absolutely should be the favorite, but Polina Shuvalova, perhaps the dark horse of the event, an international master, winner of the I'm Not a GM Speed Championship. She has been knocking out some. I think that Wenjun, she wants to establish her dominance in the elite of women's chess, and there we can see Wenjun beginning with the white pieces, opens up with d4, c4.
Yep, and Polina plays the Tarrasch defense, or the semi-Tarrasch defense, with an early knight takes d5. Here c5 is a move. Black is aiming now to take on d4, followed by bishop b4, to trade off some pieces.
Yes, and there you see 2 sets of minor pieces have left. Now, this is a really solid approach there from Black. I know Lenia Dominguez is a big exponent of this type of situation. I've also seen Mickey Adams play it. I have also seen Shakhriyar Mamedyarov demolish Mickey Adams using this type of strategy, just advancing as quickly as possible with d5.
Yeah, and I think the move b6 is actually a slight inaccuracy. I think Black is actually supposed to play knight d7 first. b6 is considered to be an inaccuracy because of this move d5. Now Black is not very well equipped to deal with this. Obviously you cannot take as white's going to recapture, and the rook in the corner is trapped. So I'm a little bit surprised by what Polina has done here, and it's not a good sign that she's thinking as well.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. And there you see bishop to a6, trying to trade off more pieces. But what's stopping white from just capturing on a6 and then going d6 and trying to get a protected pass pawn? Nothing.
And that's what Wenjun goes for, yeah. The d6 pawn is very dangerous. It's not easy to get rid of. Black has this pawn side majority on the queen side, but it's not dangerous yet. So I think the opening has certainly been for Wenjun so far.
Yes, it certainly has, because d5 is certainly something that white wants to be playing. And the fact that d5 has come so early on the game and white is able to reinforce it, white's going to just be backing this up with castles, e5, rook to c1, rook to d1, and just dominance. So knight to c5 attacking the e4 pawn. So you don't want to be letting that pawn drop. So e5.
And it's pointing out that, hey, white can just castle and let Black take on e5. I guess in that variation there is a way for white to emerge with an advantage.
Yes, castling makes a lot of sense. You don't want to be living with your king in the middle of the board, put quite simply. So, yes, I like the dominance that Wenjun has in this position. d6 is such a strong pawn. And Wenjun hesitating here. I think she'll either do that or e takes f6 and then back it up by castles. But considered an inaccuracy.
Yeah, I don't like this move as much. Now Polina is able to bring her queen out. Okay, now the rook on a1 is hanging, so kingside castle. But it feels like Polina was handed a free tempo. Now she can bring her rook into the game, and she does so with the move rook 88. So perhaps a missed opportunity there for Wenjun.
Yeah, and it's the kind of open position where the advantage hangs on these very small details. Because in the other line with an early kingside castles, the white knight would appear on e5, maybe could deposit itself on c6 and go on adventure. Now this knight is just saddled to f3. But I do feel that Wenjun has that pressure. This pawn on d6 is so strong, and that's why Paulina is just simply trying to corral it.
Yeah, so rook d7 has been played. She's aiming to go rook fd8. Maybe she can go knight e4 or knight b7 later. So this pawn on d6 now looks quite weak, and I don't see... Oh, will we see knight e5 and a trade
Yeah.
of a queen for two rooks? Yeah, I think we're going to have that on the board.
Ooh, yeah, we are certainly going to be seeing that. I was thinking that instead of rook after d8, maybe knight to b7 might be a better option. But queen against two rooks. And here everything depends on king safety and coordination. Black's king is unsafe, and this pawn on e6 is a target.
Yeah, but h6, clever move by Polina, creating an escape square for her king. Alright, so let's see how Wenjun is going to continue here. I feel like maybe there's something right here for white, because if black is able to consolidate with king h7, then I don't see why things are so bad for black, and that's why we see the evil bar dropping down now.
And the king to h7 played. I still feel that white has the advantage. White has the possibility of going rook to c6, rook to c7, or maybe even trading off knights. What do you think about knight to d7? I'm just doing a quick blunder check to make sure that nothing is falling off.
Yeah, I think knight d7 is fine. I don't think it blunders anything. I mean, queen e7 can be met with rook e d1, but she goes rook d4 instead. Interesting approach. I wonder what exactly she has in mind. I don't know. To me, it feels like black should be fine, but the computer really seems to favor white. And ooh, maybe h4 with the idea to potentially go h5 and create some sort of mating mat with rook d8 and knight g6 coming later.
Do you know something? I would never ever have thought of that plan until the engine suggested h4, and then suddenly it's like a beacon of light. I'm like, oh yeah, that is the way. Rook to e2 played by Wenjun. It's a reasonable move, keeping everything covered, but it's not necessarily the most aggressive. And b5 from Polina. I'm gonna be honest here. In principle, I don't like that move, even though objectively it's probably okay, because the knight was nicely anchored there on c5.
Yeah, now the knight loses its anchor square. On the upside, now she can maybe go a5, b4, and at some point create a passer. We have g4 by Wenjun, kicking the queen away. Wow, that seems like very aggressive. Queen b1, I guess king g2 now. And let's see what Polina is going to do here. I think Wenjun is still aiming to go for h4, h5 to create a mating net around the black king.
Yeah, and we see that both players, they are being very accurate with the clock. Good time usage as well. Well, a5. This is a really enterprising stuff from Polina, and Wenjun, suddenly the path has been revealed. She's going to go h5, and that's why the engine is suggesting that she has to go g5 if she doesn't want the king caught in a mating net.
Yeah, usually when there's a blue arrow, it means that there's one move that has to be played. So yeah, like I said, if black doesn't play g5, white will go h5, and this mating net is looking really scary. I don't see what black can do about rook d8 and knight g6, but g5 doesn't look too great either, as you're really exposing your king.
It looks terrifying, to be honest. But maybe you can get away with it, because this knight on c5 is a good defensive piece. And let's not forget the players don't have objectively that much time to calculate all the complications. Yeah, g5.
Alright, so a tough decision here to make for Polina. Yeah, she doesn't go g5. Wenjun is just slowly going to go h5, and it's really difficult for black to create any sort of counterplay. If you go queen a1, I think white just goes rook to d8, and all the white pieces are nicely defending each other. So let's see if she will find that move g5. It doesn't seem like an easy move to me.
No, it's certainly not easy. Also, because you can just anticipate that with the king exposed there on the 7th rank, well, g5 found all credit to Polina. But one of the things that I find challenging about this move is that you can visualize a future where a rook arrives on d7, and once the king is pushed back to the 8th rank, it's going to be checkmate. And there we see pawns being traded off. Knight to f3.
Okay.
Threatening
So
pawn.
the computer is saying black should play king to h6. Okay, makes sense to defend the pawn. She goes to g6. Okay, that might be a mistake. Rook e5 looks very natural here. Hitting the knight, hitting the pawn on g5. So let's see if Wenjun will go for it. And yeah, there we have it on the board.
Yes, and there we see why king to g6 was imprecise, because with the king on h6, rook takes g5 wouldn't have appeared with check. And knight to d3, but rook takes g5. If that rook were not on e5, you could go, yes, knight takes g5.
That's mate. That's mate. Yeah. Rook d8, rook d7, rook f7, rook e8. That's game one for Wenjun.
Yep. And it's the basic rook roller technique in action. And here it comes, rook to e8.